What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FloGrappling show, aka the worst show on the internet. As always, we got Joey Scoops over here, Uncle Reed right there, and then Big Slack Barrett on the ones and twos behind the desk. You know, we've been traveling a little bit. Just got back from Europeans. I got back on Saturday. I think Reed got back a couple days before that. You guys got back a couple days before that. But traveling a lot. We got WNO coming up. But just overall, quick European talk. Because that's kind of my favorite stuff these days. Mm-hmm. Europe was awesome, to be honest. The European Championship, I felt like delivered. I don't know what you guys think, but definitely it felt like all week the color belts were putting on a show, and then ending in the black belt days where just right off the rip, so many submissions in the finals really made that a fun event for me. What do you guys think about Europe?
Yeah, super fun to be out there in Europe. It's been a couple of years since I've been to the European Championship, so I was super excited to go. And, kind of a slow end to the year a little bit, so it definitely feels good to just jump right back into some elite gi jiu-jitsu, 10-day tournament, crazy tournament. There's something for you out there. But you know what? I thought that this was definitely one of the funnest European Championships that I'd ever been to. The finals, I felt like really delivered. You had Andy and Tainan, and you had Pato and Kennedy. You had Adam Mordzinski. A lot of big names, a lot of big matches. Finals were fun. Crowd is hype as hell out there in Lisbon.
It was an electric crowd.
If you get a chance to go to the European Championships, you should definitely go compete. The crowd is awesome. What a fun tournament. Yeah, man, it felt good to be back.
It was awesome. It was, like you said, it was super submission heavy. I felt like the final started in like 5 of the first 6 fights or something were just submission. Larissa Campos, I thought, had maybe the craziest one with that back take into the bow and arrow all in one motion. That was super sick. Maisa picking up a revenge win off of last year where she got upset by Dantas, came back, got the win by submission this year. Crazy ending to the absolute final where they got to call the semifinalists back out to the mat. Those guys went out there, and Luis Cantarira ended up winning double gold for the black belts in a kind of a crazy circumstance. But overall, just for action, one of the better IBJJF majors, just for like pure entertainment and action in a while.
What are the brothers' names there again? I forget their
Veteraci brothers. I believe it is.
Veteraci. Those dudes.
Avi and Mateusz, I think.
Yeah, those dudes were super sick to watch. They were fun, and the crowd was going wild for them. So that was awesome.
One of the coolest moments. I don't know if it's gotten like, let's put a little shine on it here right now. Leo Sousa at lightweight. He beats Luccas Protazio. He taps his way through the tournament. Protazio beats Pedro Maya, who is Leo's coach. And then he comes out in the finals and he puts Protazio out with a beautiful clock choke. That had to feel incredible. There's an interview with him now on the site. But he was a guy who was starting to like really come on last year. He had a super exciting tournament. Next time that guy rolls around and enters the tournament, I'm definitely going to be watching from the first minute.
There was also a funny moment because after he won the match, he was so excited that he got up and he ran full blast over to Shanji, and Shanji opens up his arms to like hug him, and Leo just jumped into his arms, like into guard, basically wrapped his legs around
Jumped guard.
Shanji falls back into his chair, and the chair falls over behind him, and they all go crashing to the ground. And he's just so amped, and Shanji was like laughing and stuff, but they all
Sounds
like
romantic.
It was hilarious. So they just all came crashing off the mat.
The sun was setting in Lisbon, Portugal. It was a beautiful scene.
Looking out over the sea. The pastéis de nata
He basically
were plentiful.
clobbered Shanji and 100% got the 2, no question.
Dang.
Yeah, Lisbon was awesome, man. Like, we don't obviously get like a ton of time, like a lot of people ask me, wow, so how was Lisbon? I'm like, well, the couple hours here and there I got to explore
the inside of the gym was great.
It was beautiful, right? Like, we spent most of the time at the tournament, but it was a really beautiful city. It was like one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to, for sure. Getting to go down to the water there, the square, so many like statues. It's just like a really beautiful place to go walk around. Lots of good food and stuff. So that was awesome. For sure. And then After Lisbon, me and Reed were lucky enough to, travel on to Poznan, Poland, to shoot some stuff with Adam Wordzinski. So hopefully we'll have some cool content going out about Adam and stuff here soon. But I don't know if you're a diehard listener to this, you might know our producer Nikki. Our producer Nikki is Polish, and so we knew we had to bring back a little gift for Nikki from Poland. So we picked up this cool little goat pencil thing from Poznan. Zoom in on that bad boy, Nikki.
Because at noon in Poznan, I guess the goats headbutt each other.
Yep, they come. It's like the clock, right? They come out of the clock and
they come out the clock.
Oh, Nicky says it's because he's the GOAT.
True. That's
open to interpretation.
That's a better reason.
Yeah, we got you this cute little goat right here, Nicky. So I don't know if it's a pencil too. If you want to take notes or something, maybe write love letters to somebody. But we'll give you that after the show. So yeah, no problem, dude. Glad we could hook it up. But Poland was super sick too. Which do you like more, Poland or Lisbon, Reed?
I just had been to Lisbon a couple times, my first time in Poland, and I was impressed with Poland. I had a lot of fun out there. Obviously, Adam showed us around, and got to train with Adam at his checkmat gym. Beat the brakes off me. Poland was great. Went to Zabka a whole bunch of times.
So many times.
Yeah. But
what is Zabka for? Is it like a McDonald's basically? Is it like a
7-Eleven?
Yes,
it's like a 7-Eleven. Yeah. But it's big over there. It's big.
A lot of people describe it as like the 7-Eleven of Poland, but it is like. Let's say you walk out of your hotel, you can turn left and there will be a Zabka 200 feet, or you can turn right and there will be a Zabka 300 feet, and then once you get to that Zabka, there's another Zabka 500 feet. It's just like nonstop. Like if you miss the Zabka on this block, there's 3 more on the next block.
This is right here?
Yep, this is what it looks like right there. That looks like a nice one, I'll be honest. That looks like a really nice one. But yeah, they got everything you could need in there. They got crab flavored chips. They got sandwiches. They got Velo Max, Zen.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually it though. That was.
I'll take some crab chips.
That looked like a really nice one.
I think that was a different one, but
I'm a Maryland boy. Anytime I'm here in Austin, I find crab chips. I am buying them.
For real? You're a crab chip guy?
Yeah, get some Old Spice on there.
Okay.
Old Bay Spice.
Zabka with a B. Zabka.
There we go.
So, pretty similar, but
all right,
but not with a P. But anyway, so yeah, we're working on a Adam Wardzinski film. Obviously, had an incredible year last year. Won the world championships, and so we went out to Poland to kind of investigate what makes Adam Wardzinski so good. What's kind of the lore, the Polish lore around Adam Wardzinski. Talked to everybody in this gym. Talked to Andrew, his coach, his wife. So we're gonna have a really cool film coming out here. Hopefully this year we'll see. We're gonna do some more filming with Adam over the year, but great to kind of like see what's the process and everything that's kind of shaped Adam into the grappler that he is today, and just all his training partners and stuff there. We got to train there, bunch of tough Polish dudes he's training with every day, so I get it. But keep a lookout for that Adam Wardzinski film on the horizon there, and more stuff from him.
Did you get any new Polish metal tips, songs, directions, anything like that while you were out there?
I can vouch for Reed and Adam. They definitely broke down over Adam's vinyl collection, and there's a lot of stuff where they were just like, oh, no, you listen to Rival Sons? Yeah, of course I listen to Rival Sons. You listen? Yeah, me too. Here's a limited edition vinyl with mint condition, blah, blah, blah.
Can you give a song recommendation that you guys maybe broed out over or something?
Honestly, like the thing that I learned about Adam, is that he's a big metalhead, of course, but he's really, really into classic metal, like he's really into the Megadeths, the Slayers, Kiss, obviously. So these really kind of classic Black Sabbath, these really classic metal bands, and he's not so much into kind of like the new era of metal, it seems like. So I was trying to kind of really dig into my bag, and we did bro down about Raining Blood by Slayer, which is a all-time classic Slayer track. So we did bro down about that one, and we talked a lot about Rival Sons. They're kind of like which I guess they're a little bit more of a modern metal, like classic bluesy rock type band, but they got some good tracks, and he had a bunch of Rival Sons records and stuff like that, so we broke down about Rival Sons. So check out Rival Sons if you're into them. I think they're a little softer. They're not as like intense metal, but
while they were doing that, I was hanging out with Jan, Adam's son, and we were trying to figure out which Hot Wheel was the fastest. So
all right, you guys were broing down in your own way.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, hey, Jan, can you read? He was like, no. I was like, me neither, dude. We're freaking best friends. But it was super sick to go out there. Super grateful for Adam, kind of showing us around Poland, inviting us into his home, all of that. So definitely, I think there's going to be some really cool projects with Adam. I think it's going to be a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people can relate to and will think is super interesting. But we'll also have some like Fix My Games and all that. So from the technical jiu-jitsu side, we'll scratch that itch for you guys a little bit as well. But the main thing we got to talk about today is WNO. This is WNO week, WNO 26. It's going down Friday, February 7th. Go get your tickets right now, all right? Get tickets or die trying, dude. Whatever it takes. Steal your mom's credit card, steal your girlfriend's credit card, whatever you got to do. Go buy tickets. Don't even come, just buy the tickets. Simple as that. But WNO 26 going down. The main event, Diego Pato versus Keith Krikorian. But we got a whole bunch of sick matches throughout the whole card. But I think we'll go through, we'll break down the whole card, and I think we're going to do a little draft at the end. So stay tuned so we can do this little draft thing, see if we can get something going. But where do you guys want to start in this card? Do we go top to bottom to top, in the middle, go outwards?
Let's go.
We work this thing like a bell curve.
Let's go top to bottom.
Top to
Not
bottom?
ready for the other way.
All right. All right, so kicking it off with the top one, that's going to be the lightweight championship, where we're going to see Diego Pato go up against Keith Krikorian. Obviously, Pato is probably one of the hottest grapplers in the world right now, I would say, not just like competition-wise, but also just popularity, everything. Like, Pato is kind of on top of the world, has an incredible record on WNO, but this is a super sick match. I think Keith knows that he's going to have to elevate his game for this one, to be honest. Like, it feels like, he's aware of that if he's going to make this happen. You can read his articles he's been writing on FloGrappling. It's kind of a pretty cool look into the mind of a professional grappler leading up into this. But just overall, you guys got thoughts on this one? What do you guys think?
So Keith called this the fight of his life. And I think that is a good way for him to be looking at this. If he wins this matchup, this is going to be career altering. You know what I mean? This is going to put him on a new stratosphere, because I think that it'll be the biggest win that he's ever picked up. I think this is a win he can pick up. I think we've seen Keith continue to try to level up and level up and level up, but I think he's just right now hitting his prime. I don't know if everybody realizes just how young Keith was when he kind of first broke out on the scene and was like really making some of those deep trials runs. He's like 18, 19. And in this matchup with Pato, obviously Pato's the man, but anybody that thinks that Keith doesn't have a very solid shot to be able to come in here and do his thing, especially in his little home area down in there in Southern California, I think he's really prepared for this. He's really prepared.
You got any thoughts on this one, Reed? What do you think about it?
Yeah, obviously, both these guys are two of my favorite grapplers, to be honest. Like, we've been watching Keith for a long, long time. This is one of my favorite Keith Krikorian matches. I was Matt side right here for this. One of the best moments of any ADCC trials ever, to be honest. I feel like this was just such a big moment, and you know how much winning means to Keith. You can see it on his face. He kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. So you got to appreciate that about a grappler who's kind of putting it all on the line. And what a guy to put it all on the line against. Pato, a guy who's as hot as ever, winning everything. He's just coming off his European championships win. That was in the gi, of course. Here we are just 2 weeks later, basically, and he's doing no gi against Keith Krikorian. So, pretty epic match for sure. Love that it's in California. Both these guys call California home these days, so they're going to be bringing out a big local crowd here. We'll see who's louder. The 10th Planet crowd or the AOJ crowd. That should be interesting.
Straight up a challenge.
Yeah,
If you're listening to this, you're going to be in the crowd for one of these. Like, it's going to be like a straight up challenge.
You remember the 10th Planet crowd at WNO Championships?
Yeah. 10th.
That was a rowdy little crew.
Rowdy crowd, yeah. But of course,
AOJ Jones in the mix.
yeah, they were screaming stuff. That was wild. Obviously AOJ always shows out. They got a big kids program last time. They were all kind of crowded around Pato after he won, and we're going crazy for him. So yeah, I think it should be an electric environment. We'll see here. Obviously, Keith is a very good leg locker. So is Pato. So it should be a fun match.
What do you? Super sick entry, by the way.
Yeah, this is one of the best moments.
Gets it on this really, really strong backside position.
Got the tap.
This was the semifinals? Finals. Incredible.
Yeah.
Of not this recent, the West Coast trials the year before, or this was
the one before that.
This is 2022 leading into it. Yeah. So this was a big one for him.
And then, funny enough, he wins this match. He qualifies for the ADCC Worlds. Who does he end up drawing? Diego Pato. They end up fighting in the first round, and Pato won that one with a leg lock. And Keith has written about this on the site. He cracked his fibia on that match.
Crazy.
And so Keith has talked about, having to come back from that and how motivated he has been for a Pato match basically ever since that happened. And now it finally is happening. And now he's going to get that opportunity. He's not just going to get that opportunity at some tournament. He's going to get that in the main event with all his people there in an event built around him. And I think that just makes it all the more exciting.
That's one of the craziest things about Pato, bro. Pato doesn't just like submit dudes. Pato breaks dudes, to be honest. Like, it's, I mean, just one of the most, like, I feel like highest percentage, like, actually ends up with a break 100%. Leg lockers in the world. But, you know, I wouldn't want to fight Pato, obviously. But wouldn't want to fight Keith either.
Yeah, straight up. He's got, like, you see it in, like, MMA and boxing, like, a guy, like, it looks like he doesn't quite hit him, but the guy's, like, unconscious. Like, he just has that pop. Pato has that, but for whatever, like, the submission equivalent is. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of in on the same heel hook that everybody is in on, and he lets go at the appropriate time. It's not like he's holding on to anything or being a jerk and really ripping stuff.
No,
it's like
some more Paharis.
He's not Paharising anything, but, like, it just breaks. What do you want, man? His mechanics are so strong that he just has that death touch.
100%. All right, we can keep moving along the matches here. So we got our middleweight bout coming in next. It's going to be Jay Rodriguez versus Ronaldo Jr. So obviously two of the most exciting grapplers on the planet, at least with the potential to be the most exciting grapplers on the planet. Jay Rodriguez, like, this guy's, I mean, always a match of the year contender, it seems like at this point. Like every year, you know J-Rod's going to be on that list for a potential best match of the year. He also just has nonstop electric matches on WNO. I know none of them yet have went his way, so that's obviously like kind of like a weird aspect of this for Jay, I feel like, but I definitely think this could be one where he gets in the win column. But also Ronaldo's, I mean, insanely tough guy. Also could meet Jay with like the athleticism and like dynamic aspects of their jiu-jitsu, so could go either way on this one. This one could be crazy. I'm hoping these dudes don't both come out, and I feel like this is like a situation where, you know, like two negatives make, or two positives make a positive, I guess. I don't know. Two negatives make a, there's some science talk for you guys right there.
I don't know if you guys
my
knew
science
that.
fair project is due later this week, so I've been trying to dive into atoms and whatnot. I hope they don't nullify each other is what I'm trying to say, though. You know, it's like two dudes who have the potential to have like the craziest match ever, but then they come out and respect each other too much. They don't let themselves get into these crazy scrambles and positions, you know, and it ends up being a stinker. That's what I don't want to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't want that to happen.
I think, yeah, that's definitely on the table. I think that we've seen Ronaldo he is the human highlight reel and he's done so many crazy things, but we have seen him take on more strategic elements to his game, right? Where he's learned how to pick his spots a little bit better. I think his run to a black belt world title at the 2023 Nogi Worlds is a good example of that, right? He wasn't opening himself up all the time and letting guys in. He was picking his spots very well. And I think the more Jay can just like crash into this match, and a match of Achilles is a good example. If the more he can just make exchanges, the better off things are gonna
that triangle, dude.
Unreal.
So nuts.
So
I don't know what's going on, but
Braulio style.
Yeah, awesome.
He's trying at least. Yeah, I think that, yeah, should these guys open up, and if it is a Jay-style match, especially where he's just being a crazy person, Ronaldo's going to have to be a crazy person right back. He absolutely has the capability to do that, and that's the kind of match I think we're all hoping to see. You know what I mean? And it says a lot that, like, we all know how good Ronaldo is, and like I said, black belt world champion, that we're talking about it like, oh, this is a much closer match on the odds than he's had before when he's fighting like Tainan and Mika and all these guys. It really just speaks to the level of difficulty, Giancarlo Bodoni, that he has taken on in his WNO career, that like, okay, let's chill out and just face a black belt world champion this time. You know what I mean?
Has Ronaldo, when was the last Ronaldo match on Who's Number One? Was it Craig? It was
Craig maybe, yeah.
So not too many. Okay. But obviously, yeah, like you said, we know how good Ronaldo Jr. is, training with the, you know, one of the best camps in the world out there at Atos. So you know that Ronaldo is going to be prepared. Haven't seen if he's out there surfing or anything like that. So I wonder how his surf skills are developing. But, you know,
probably well.
Yeah, probably. I was just going to say that, like, man, you just got to love Jay Rodriguez, to be honest, man. Like, this dude has had some tough matches. And, like, I didn't realize that there's a little bit of a USA Brazil versus Brazil thing here on the top two matches, right? And, you know, Keith, obviously, versus Pato, and then Jay versus Ronaldo here. And it's like, man, Jay is just a dude who says yes. Like, he just wants to fight the best in the world. Like, who else in the past year has fought Mika Galvao, Tainan Dalpra, and Ronaldo Jr.? Like, three of the best middleweights, you know, in the IBJJF circuit and the, you know, any circuit, you know. And Jay is just down for it. So, like, you got to tip the cap to Jay. Obviously, super electric, exciting grappler. You know, like Trey was saying, I do think these guys have the potential to bring out the best in each other. You know, Jay's a guy that doesn't really play things too safe. And Ronaldo's been playing things safe, lately, but he does
since his knee injury, kind of. You know what I mean? I think he had that match with Tainan where his knee kind of blew up, and since then he's had to be smarter about it. But he does still show a lot of flashes of it.
Yeah, and we've watched, Ronaldo as a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, just do some absolutely insane things over the years, And
he really became the human.
Yeah,
idol.
that's where he got the nickname. I feel like was when he was really just stunting on guys as a purple belt, as a brown belt, and really doing some electric stuff. So, like I said, I do think these dudes have the capability of really bringing the best out of each other. I don't think Jay's going to take a backward step, and I think that'll really kind of ignite the fire in Ronaldo, and should be one of the best matches of the night for sure. I won't say it's going to be the fight of the night because I have my pick for the fight of the night, which will come up a little bit later.
Okay, got a slobberknocker.
A little slobberknocker report going on.
Oh no,
yeah,
okay.
I might have one too. If mine is different than yours, I'll let you know.
Word.
All right, the knockers are slobbering, boys. We'll see how this
Not
one
how I
plays
would
out.
phrase it, but yeah.
My bad. My bad on that one. What's the next match? I want to go in order here, but I don't have it memorized.
Roberto Elder.
All right, Roberto Elder. This is another one that's like has high potential. High crazy potential. Two back like they're both.
IBJJF Open Class champions at Nogi Worlds. Yeah, the most previous two.
I've been hitting these Polish freaking nicotine, boy. I can't think right anymore.
You want one?
Yeah, I'll take one.
He's never said no.
Yeah, so the 2023 IBJJF Absolute Champion was Roberto Jimenez, and the 2024 Absolute Champion at Nogi Worlds was Elder Cruz. So we're kind of getting IBJJF Absolute Champs, from the two reigning going up against each other here on WNO. So definitely an exciting mixture. I think this is one where it's like, I don't know who's going to win this, and that's always a fun dynamic whenever it's just it is like a complete, like, I actually do not know, dude. Roberto could take him down, display incredible top game, like great pinning positions, which I don't know if anyone can really do on Roberto, like probably the best chance was Tainan for sure at that. And we still saw Roberto eventually kind of get some crazy stuff going. But yeah, Roberto could also just do what he does, always teleports to the back, So I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
I think this is a great fight. I think, they did fight again in 2023. So this is a rematch. I believe Elder won the first one. But this one that was under a point situation. This is sub only, of course, 15 minutes. I think that does benefit Roberto. But now's a super critical time for Elder, I think. Now is a time where he has that open class title that's going to get him a lot of looks. It's going to get him matches and opportunities. And now is the time for him to capitalize on all that, right? He's been working for so long. We've been seeing Elder at it. And now is kind of like his make or break moment in a lot of ways. I think that this is a really critical matchup for not just these two, but for the entire division. With this one and for another light heavyweight match we're going to talk about. If somebody comes out and looks awesome, they're probably getting a title shot. Like, that's not official or anything, but just like looking at the division and kind of how it shakes out. Right now, this division needs a contender, and if one of these guys comes through and is super impressive, they could really stake a very serious claim on fighting for that title, potentially ending the year as the champion.
Yeah, that 205 division, it needs a clear contender right now, especially on like the WNO brand. Rewind this real quick though, Slack, because one thing I love watching about training rounds with Elder is I feel like we don't see Elder play guard a lot in his actual matches. He's so good at wrestling. He's so good at maintaining top. But when you see these training rounds, you often see him play more guard, and it's so clear that he's a Luccas Leitch student. Like, you'll see whenever he plays guard here in a second, he immediately goes into the coyote, just like works it perfectly. And like, I don't know, there's something that makes me feel good whenever I see Elder, just like this known wrestler, top player, immediately playing Luccas Leitch's game. It's like, damn, dude, that's awesome to see. Just like completely nailing his coach's kind of whole game and stuff. There was, where it's at there.
There was a moment when
further back. Let me see.
There was a moment when we were training with Adam where I like switched and I was like, let me try playing this coyote guard stuff, And I was like, this is probably a really bad person to play coyote guard on. Like,
yeah, good point.
He knows every flipping counter, I'm sure, and but yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying about Elder's kind of arrived now. For the longest time, Elder's been on the come up. People do forget that he has a win over Nicky Rod on Who's Number One, and he's arrived now. He's here. Now is the time, black belt, absolute world champion. And now's the time for him to really kind of like stake his claim as like, no, I'm going to be here for a long time. I can beat these legacy guys who have been in jiu-jitsu since they were 5 years old, like Roberto and stuff like that. So yeah, I think this is a big match for Elder, especially in front of his home crowd as well. Right down the street is Checkmat and Checkmat La Habra and everything. So he's going to be bringing out a big crew here. Roberto is no slouch. That's a tough match for absolutely anybody. It's going to take full 15 minutes. To get the win. So
I love the question mark that always comes with Roberto. No matter who you put him against, it's like there is a question mark. Like, I don't know. Will Roberto get beat immediately? I don't know. Will he do the craziest thing and submit somebody immediately? I don't know, dude. It's like, I don't even know where this dude's built out of. You know where he's built out of this time?
He is built out of the coast of the Valdivs and the Andes Mountains. That is where he will be announced from for WNO 26.
That's where he's been training. Okay.
That's where he's been training.
So everybody at home, just go through a mental exercise right now. Close your eyes, all right? Close your eyes. Everybody here do it too.
Okay.
Right, close your eyes and just think of, say it again where he's built from with our eyes closed.
The coast of the Valdivs and the Andes Mountains.
And now in your mind, I want you to picture Roberto and everything you know about him as a grappler, as a person on social media, and picture this man training in the Andes Mountains and the Valley of the Maldives or wherever you said.
Pretty close.
and just picture what kind of training Roberto is doing right now in preparation for this Elder match. And just let yourself enjoy that for a little bit. Just soak in that thought of what Roberto's doing out there. And that's a beautiful thing if you ask me,
Create the content within your own mind.
Yeah. We've progressed so far here at Flow Studios that we no longer make content. We create it in your mind for you. But yeah, I think it's going to be really fun.
It's so great that Trey was like sitting here like, okay, we're all going to close our eyes. And all of us are sitting here looking at each other.
What the hell? You guys didn't close your eyes?
I closed my eyes.
Oh, man, I got done dirty by my boys, dude. What the heck?
I never agreed to any eyes
Oh,
closed.
man. Everyone comment down below a time you got done dirty by your boys so I can stand in solidarity with you. That hurts.
We've all been there. Brother.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this one. I think it's going to be really fun. We got a little Ecuadorian versus Honduran action.
Yeah.
You're talking about
South
Brazil
American
versus
action.
USA. Yeah. So I'm excited for that for sure. But just moving down the card, this next one, does anybody want to make a slobberknocker claim? No.
I think it will be a slobberknocker.
Yeah,
it was not my choice.
This is my slobberknocker right here.
I thought this might be where you're going. If not here, I think then we probably have the same one.
As a guy who always supports his boys through thick and thin, even if they want to close their eyes on a podcast and whatever, I would support it if you guys want to claim it first. But if not, I'll claim this as what I think is going to be the slobberknocker. Ryan Aitken versus Luccas Lira. I think there's a dynamic with these two guys where they're both so hungry to put on a show in front of grappling fans, no matter where it is. Like we talked with Ryan Aitken on our last episode. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. He has some incredible stories. This dude's been representing jiu-jitsu in jiu-jitsu versus boxing matches since high school, where he just showed up in some dudes.
Before he did jiu-jitsu, really?
Yeah, at the ashtray, just like fighting dudes to represent jiu-jitsu. But two absolute showmen who I think understand like the magnitude of this match, and they're both kind of on this trajectory to keep getting more and more big matches, big moments in the sport of jiu-jitsu. And here you can see Ryan first round at ADCC just immediately bringing it to Pedro, a super respected guy, a guy that everyone knows is so dangerous, can guillotine you from anywhere, and Ryan was just like, nah, man, I'm out here to do what I do, get in on the legs, get a submission. And I think Ryan's going to bring a lot of that same energy to this WNO match against Luccas Lira. And I think Luccas is going to bring the exact same thing, if I'm being honest.
You're saying the exact same thing. They're bringing the exact same thing. I think that's definitely the way to look at this. These guys are so similar to me, right?
Yeah.
They are both super strong, super big for this weight class. They're maybe not the biggest for the weight class because they both do make 88, but like big, strong guys.
Yeah.
They're two dudes who it's confusing how they make 88.
Straight up.
It's like, whoa.
Like, what are you doing here, Pedro? What are you doing right there?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He's trying to counter leg lock. But yeah, both super nasty on the legs. Obviously, we're looking at that.
That was brutal.
Crazy.
Yeah, you got a
crazy
10th
win.
Planet dude wearing Assassin's rash guard. You got to get off the legs.
No, like I was going to say earlier that like I know I'd actually never interviewed Ryan Aitken. Still have never interviewed him because I was on the podcast, and I know maybe he made mention of that, and I feel like the reason why like I kind of like steered clear of him a little bit is like He's a scary dude. He's a scary looking guy. You know, he's a big dude and
looks
everything.
like a fighter, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna kind of just steer clear a little bit from that guy. He looks like he's gonna eat me or something. Like,
yeah, we're real people at the end of the day, and sometimes it's like, I'm scared to ask you if you want to break that down.
You're foaming at the mouth and everything. I'm gonna let you do your thing. But
I remember right after that match, I got him coming off the mat. I was like, dude, how'd that feel? You know, you just submitted Pedro first round ACC, and he like said some stuff, had some cool stuff to say, and he goes, stay tuned, and he just punched my camera.
Exactly.
And I was like, that was awesome.
And then you didn't have a camera for the rest of
like,
ADCC.
I was like, workday's done, dude. Going home early. Freaking see you never. But just freaking, I'm gonna go hang out in Vegas, see what I can do on the craps table. But Ryan Aitken, intimidating dude on and off the mats for sure, but also a nice guy.
Really nice guys.
Cool guy.
Fun podcast. Really excited to see what these two dudes can do against each other, because they kind of have similar-ish games a little.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. Similar games, similar places in their careers. They've kind of both had similar-ish opportunities, maybe not quite, but like this is an enormous opportunity for both these guys. I think we're in for something.
What do you think, Slack? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm just going to throw it to
Yeah. What do you think?
I think they're kind of this is kind of the secret match on the card that like,
how I feel.
If you're not super keyed in to either of these guys, maybe you've seen a highlight or something, you don't quite realize just how consistently they bring it. And when I was at AIGA in October, that was the first time I saw Ryan compete in person, and the aura is like palpable. Like on the whole team, having Ryan on the 10th Planet team affected the entire team. Like every time he came out, we were all kind of like, oh damn, okay, here we go.
Little must-watch energy.
Oh, it's real now, huh?
Yeah, it's super real. Yeah, and just like a very aggressive style, very technical, but very like he's bringing it to you. There's no like trickery going on. But obviously, like here, I've got this pulled up for Luccas. Like Luccas has just been putting on highlights and is definitely gonna bring a lot of challenges and just like make for a very exciting match.
Look at this. Look how beautiful this is about.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Just so calmly, too. He's like
done it a million times.
Yeah.
Confidence, very confident.
Got the slow-mo 120p for your ass.
Back-to-back heel hooks there on Ryan and Luccas. So
that does feel like that's where this is going to go. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
These guys are going to exchange heel hooks. I don't know if that's where it's going to end, but we're going to have somebody try a heel hook somebody for sure.
This is like what you're saying, Joe, too, about their styles being so similar and everything. A lot of times we do try to book style clashes, because like sometimes you get a style clash and that creates like some wild dynamic movement, some crazy stuff where you see a lot of countering back and forth. But there's something kind of cool and enticing about just a straight up like style versus style matchup where it's like two dudes best in the world at this specific thing. They have a plethora of jiu-jitsu to fall back on. It's like, I feel like maybe that's one thing people might get mistaken is that like, oh, when someone's this good at leg locks, that's what they do. It's like, nah, bro, these dudes can do every position. Like 100%. They're elite world class at every position, every jiu-jitsu movement. So it's like, are we going to see them get into the legs and then bounce back into some other stuff, and start playing a different game? Or are we going to see some new stuff that we haven't seen maybe on like a super fight type of stage from these guys? I kind of hope so. I think maybe, but I don't know how it'll end up either. But I'm excited to see kind of this like head-to-head, like two very similar dudes, similar places in their career, kind of go at it at this one.
Yeah, especially just right now, like you're saying, this is the perfect time for them. That both of these guys are really just starting to break out. I know they've been on the scene for a little bit here, but they are still pretty young in their in the world of jiu-jitsu. And I feel like Ryan Aitken, Luccas Lira, we could be looking at one of these guys a future ADCC champion, if not both of them, future ADCC champions, future world champions, whatever. I think these guys are just really starting to kind of stake their claim as one of the best in the world. So we could see either of these guys go on to be who's number one champion or anything, because I think that they have just a big trajectory ahead of them for sure.
I agree.
What was the last match we saw from Luccas at WNO? It was WNO 24?
Yeah, he was on the undercard against Hassan Alabed.
Okay, yeah. And he came out, got the submission?
He came out, no, he didn't submit the guy. It was a wrestler guy that he kind of had trouble pinning down in one place. He would try to get it on the legs.
But he did kind of dominate the match.
He did dominate the match. And he did look really good. Did not ultimately get the submission, which I think still bugs him. I just think we have two guys who are so willing to get in the pocket with each other and know they have so much to prove. I would be really surprised if this match does not end in a submission.
For sure. All right, so we're talking, a kind of direct one-to-one type of matchup. So let's go to a style clash matchup.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Tainan Dalpra versus Rene Sousa going down in the middleweight category. Obviously, Rene, WNO veteran, veteran of the game and everything. Also, Tainan Dalpra now, a WNO veteran. Still kind of the people I feel like, I know me personally as a fan, just wants to see more and more of Tainan's no-gi game. And this is definitely one where I feel like we could see a pretty wild stylistic matchup here against Rene, kind of a funky dude. I know he's like pretty associated with the buggy choke, but also incredible leg locker, got a lot more going on. I think he's trying to leave the buggy choke behind, but might bust it back out in this one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just, I think I hear him say that from time to time, like, I'm not bugging anybody anymore. But then I see him out there in these matches, and as soon as the buggy opens up, like, he's going to try and hop on it. Like,
100%.
I totally get it. It's like, there's a great MMA fighter once upon a time, Brad One Punch Pickett, who put One Punch in his nickname, so everybody thought that he had crazy knockout power, and he was just a grappler. Yeah, he would just go out and take people down. That's kind of what I think
hilarious.
Rene might
He
be
means
doing.
I'm only going to throw one punch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what I think Rene's doing with the, like, I'm not buggying anymore. It's like, come and give me the buggy then. It's no problem.
And this has been a good venue here. We're going out to Costa Mesa at the Hangar, which is a great venue, great crowd out there. And this is, of course, his match with Kieran Kachuk there. And they had this one at the last one we did in the Hangar. So this is, Rene's obviously going back, a lot of good memories, a lot of good vibes in this arena where we had an electric submission here on Kieran that we'll see in just a minute. But I will say, a lot of people out there saying no to fighting Tainan Dalpra.
That's for sure.
On the Who's Number One mats, especially right down the street from Costa Mesa where Tainan calls home. A lot of people saying no, they don't want to fight him. Not Rene Sousa though, man. He's down anywhere, anyone, anytime. So gotta love that attitude. I believe he's even trained with Tainan Dalpra.
Oh, really?
In the past.
I think he trained in the gi.
Yeah.
With Tainan. He went out to AOJ. I saw some pictures of Rene in the gi, a rare sighting.
So and he enthusiastically wanted this match, of course, and so maybe he knows some things that we don't, has some tricks up his sleeve, as we know Rene always does. So he's a guy who brings it, but really excited for Tainan to be out on the Who's Number One stage as well. He just won the European Championships in the gi. Now he's taken off the gi. So like you said, just a big style clash here. A lot of question marks. Tainan obviously has the more traditional jiu-jitsu game, but let's see what tricks and 10th planet trickery that Rene can bring to the stage.
Although this is for sure a styles clash, there are similarities with these guys too, in the sense that I think both guys putting heavy emphasis on wrestling as one thing. We've seen Tainan come out in especially his no-gi matches and showcase a lot more wrestling. Same with Rene. Rene works a ton of wrestling now, not only with Big Uncle Zach Meslani, but also at Essential with JT and those guys. So I'm curious if we'll see some wrestling in this one as well. Are we closing in on the submission now here?
I hear Jean-Jacques Machado is going to be in the in the house as well. So always sick to have a legend in your corner like Jean-Jacques Machado as well. I'm sure that'll help things. And one of the best parts about this match is, like, it was a long match, and this is really boom.
This is 12 minutes in right here, just catches his knee bar out of nowhere.
And that's one of the most impressive things about Rene, I feel like, is like his cardio was there the whole entire time, and he did just kind of whittled him down, and then found the submission. So I assume he's going to have a very similar game plan here against Tainan. Try to whittle him down. He hasn't been training no-gi as much as Rene has, of course. He's been in the gi as well. So there's some holes there probably.
I think there's two things that are really underrated about Rene's game. We all understand that Tainan is amazing, right? Tainan's incredible.
Yeah.
But there's two things that are super underrated in Rene's game. First of all is his wrestling, former college wrestler who has a lot of experience in that and actually is a very decent wrestler when you're not seeing him just like come out trying to pull guard and buggy and do all that kind of stuff. He's also so gritty and so tough physically. And I think that doesn't really he's so hard to submit. I don't know if he always gets credit for that because he's kind of such just like a chill.
He's big. He's big too.
He's also a big guy.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a big guy when you're next to him. He's a pro athlete. Like you stay next to him, you're not surprised.
I feel like he's gonna be a little bit bigger than Tainan for sure.
I think that's probably true. I just think that there's obviously Tainan's amazing, but Rene's the perfect guy to come in here and make this just a scrap. That's what I want to see. I want to see a scrap.
Yeah. Bring Tainan into some deep waters. See how he responds.
Rene does deal well with deep waters. Like we saw him against Charlie Gilpin at Nogi Worlds or Nogi Pants. Yeah, that was a crazy match. But obviously here you see Tainan. This was his WNO debut, right? Against
That's right, yeah.
Troy Russell.
Troy.
But just like Tainan just so kind of perfect, to be honest. Like when you watch Tainan, it's like, wow, if I could do that one time, I would be the man.
No wasted movement, you know. Yeah.
Incredibly efficient. Another similarity I want to point out though, because I feel like maybe people aren't thinking about this, or if you're not too deep in it, maybe you wouldn't put this together. Obviously, Tainan has one of the best coaches in the game, one of the best jiu-jitsu minds in the game for not just building a plan, but getting his athletes ready to compete and all that, in Jimenez. Notoriously one of the best at that. I think Rene also has one of the best minds in jiu-jitsu. Not just JT.
And Zach.
Big Uncle Zach Maslany. I think Zach Maslany really can build incredible game plans for his athletes. Like, he knows what his guys should be doing, how to prep them in that sense. So I think Zach Maslany is kind of an X factor in this as well, with like helping Rene get ready. I know he splits time with JT as well, so obviously JT is going to influence so much and have such a great input into Rene's game. But two dudes who kind of have like really strong corners as well. And it's like, it's back to Rene being down for anything, and just like he jumped at this opportunity. Zach Maslany he's gonna be analyzing all of this, telling Rene, like, this is where you're strong against Tainan, this is where you're weak. You know, you can't hit the buggy choke from here, you got to hit it from here. You know, that type of thing. So I think that's a cool aspect of this as well.
How cool would it be to see a buggy choke and Jean-Jacques is in the corner?
I mean,
you know what I mean? Jean-Jacques is coaching him through the buggy choke. It would be nuts.
That would be
we're talking about game plans. Would you attack the hand?
I don't know. His notoriously hurt wrist. Yeah.
Tainan's going to come out there with this thing, half in a cast. I mean, that's going to affect this match.
that is something that will affect the match, it feels like. Yeah.
Wrist lock? You calling a wrist lock?
I mean, I'm saying a standing wrist lock. Like, if you've ever been able to call a standing wrist lock coming into a match, it's probably this match.
That'd be crazy. Is it? So we're still not on you guys' slobberknocker radar yet, huh?
Not just yet.
Oh man, okay. Oh,
For sure, we have the same.
I'm giddy with anticipation.
We got 5 or 6, 7 more matches before I get to my.
Oh wow, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
That would be such a funny choice.
Well, let's keep it moving then. So maybe we'll unearth one of these slobberknockers, But up next we have our featured women's match here. Rafaela Guedes versus Paige Ivette. A couple very tough, very scrappy females throwing down on this card. Obviously, Rafaela Guedes just captured.
I'm going to do it. This is my slobber knocker.
Oh, man.
This is my slobber.
Bing, 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 bing. Slack, play the slobber knocker alarms. Hit it. Yeah, nice. What is it about this one, Joe? What's it got you calling slobber knocker?
I think a big part of it is we all understand that Rafaela is amazing. Rafaela is someone who brings a lot of, pohada every time she comes out into the mat. I think that Paige Ivette is the same way, and I think this is such a big opportunity for her. She had an awesome run through Nogi Pan. She had an awesome run through Nogi Worlds where she was very aggressive and very submission-oriented. She's super physically strong. She doesn't, her cardio is great. She's able to be there for the full 10 minutes that we saw in IBJJF. I think that these are two of the strongest, most aggressive, most forward-fighting women on the planet in grappling. Not just women, just grapplers overall. And I think that is going to translate to an awesome match where these two are just going to try to throw the heck out of each other, get back up real quick, throw the other one back down. Just one of these like almost judo-like matches where they're just really messing each other up. I say judo-like too. Paige working with J-Flow, who I think is going to be, I think that's the exact right person to be working with when you're trying to take on a Rafaela Guedes, who's very unlikely to pull guard. You're going to have to put her down and keep her down.
For sure. That's an interesting aspect of that. It is cool having some Legion representatives on this card. And also that J-Flow class is really like a melting pot for the Southern California grappling scene at this point. I feel like, I see a lot of Atos people coming
Keith trains out there as well.
Keith in the mix. PJ, all of them. So if you're in Southern California, that really seems like one of the places to be, is that kind of J-Flow, noon, competitive class right there, especially if you're looking for great rolls and whatnot.
You've done that class, right?
I've been there, dude. I've tossed it around a little bit with the boys. Got thrown around. But yeah, Keith messed me up. Adam Bradley messed me up in that one. All right. So.
Yeah, and I feel like this is honestly a big match for Rafaela. I feel like she's a little bit hit or miss sometimes. She hasn't been the most consistent. Sometimes we see her out there, she looks like a world beater, and sometimes she looks like she just can't quite wake up in the match. And so I think this is like a really, really big one for her, to be honest, especially just out there in Southern California. Going to be a big contingent kind of rooting for her as well. So I think this is a big match for Rafaela too. And like you said, just having somebody from Legion, Paige out there, I feel like she doesn't really care about wins and losses, to be honest. When I watch her, that's the vibe I get, is that like she doesn't really care about wins and losses. She just wants to make sure that the girl she's fighting knew that she's in a fight.
That's exactly. I think that's the case. I remember after Nogi Worlds, she lost in the finals to Annabelle Lopez, who's incredible as well. But after the match, she's walking over to the podium. She just lost the world final. That's a very, that can be a very tough thing. But she's talking to Sloan, her husband's Sloan Climber.
I think so.
They're at least together. They're just, and she's just saying, like, I think it was something to the effect of, we're just going to work. Just here at work today, putting in the work, getting after it. This is what we do. And it was like just a really impressive mindset around, damn, this girl just likes to show up and fuck people up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, win or lose, she's just here to put on a fight. And like you said, we've seen matches where Rafaela just doesn't quite wake up and has to play more of a strategic kind of thing. And I don't think she's going to get the opportunity to do that. I think if she tries that against Paige Ivette, I think she's getting tossed on her dome, and I think she's getting tapped out. So I think she's going to have to wake up real quick if she's not awake.
Yeah, I think big opportunity for Paige. Rafaela a little bit more accomplished, just traditionally. So for Paige to go out here and beat a champion like Rafaela Guedes, that would be a big feather in her cap and really catapult her into kind of this next level, I feel like, and possibly give her an opportunity at some title shots and things like that as well. So I think big opportunity here for both these girls. I think that they both need the win, and so yeah, perfect slobber knocker.
There we go. All right, so the next one, Daniel Sathler versus Michael Sainz. This one's going to kick off the main card. I'm calling this.
Dibs.
This was yours.
No. I said I'm calling it first. I'm calling this as Reed's slobber knocker. Is this the one though, Reed?
Yeah. This is my slobber knocker.
Would also have been mine if we didn't
Yeah. No, just obviously these two dudes have really kind of blown up on the scene here. This last year or so. Obviously, Daniel Sathler here that we're watching had an incredible match on Who's Number One against Fabieri last time. Of course, you can't forget his flying triangle submission over Max Hansen as his WNO debut at the hangar last time. So he's coming back to the hangar. He's got good vibes, good memories again here. And I don't know, man, I'm huge on this Michael Sainz guy too. I think, he was, if you've been watching the ADCC Opens, you see a lot of him. And of course we got to watch him Matt side at the youth championships as well. I believe there's a couple brothers, so I get them a little bit mixed up, but
like Michael, Tristan, and a third, I think.
Yeah. So,
apologies to third.
Obviously awesome when you can kind of grow up doing jiu-jitsu with your brothers every day. Like that sounds like a dream. That sounds like a
little bit of a cheat code to becoming one of the best.
Exactly.
Shout out to the Veteracis.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so he's out there just scrapping with his brothers every single day, not letting those guys get an inch on him. So yeah, I don't know. Just this guy, really fun dude to watch. He's a young kid in the game, so just cardio is just not a factor with him at all. He's going to be going 1,000% for 15 minutes. So is Daniel Sathler. He went 100% with Fabieri for 15 minutes. So I just think someone's going through a table. So watch out the first row out there in Costa Mesa. These guys are going to be flying at you. Two just super dynamic dudes, hard to do anything against. So I have a feeling this one's going to be just two cats fighting in a garbage can type of a match.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
Oh,
so.
dang.
I think in this match we should make a rule just for this match that if Daniel is able to jump off of anything, we'll allow it. If he gets his way onto a table or whatever, feel free, brother.
Like he can tag in his brother to kind of like launch him.
I'm saying but give it to Michael too. Give it to 100%. If you guys are able to figure out any propulsion system in this match, go for it.
Yeah, we might actually make this one a table, ladders, and chairs match.
I mean, is it too late to make it a tables, ladders, and chairs match?
Yeah, I guess we make the rules.
You know who Michael, for fans who have not been paying attention to Michael, I don't compare him to this person in terms of style. I think their styles are actually super different, but just in terms of like where they were maybe 2 years ago, he's like where Dorian Oliveras was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? We're like coming up through the opens, starting to beat these adults, starting to beat maybe even some like black belts at these opens that like, not like big names, but like chipping away right on the edge of something. And I think this is an awesome matchup at just the right time. Daniel had a match of the year contender last time he was on WNO, had to bring him back super quick. And Michael is the right kid for that, 100%.
Definitely go check out Michael's performances at ADCCs. I was going to actually add that he's He's got a little bit of a Cody Steele vibe. Ooh. Maybe not just in the style
Heavy
sense,
hands.
but like in the presence that he brings at ADC matches. Like I saw him, I noticed
we're here
trials. Right. It's a fight, and he creates a lot of really crazy moments and a lot of viral moments, honestly, just from the general demeanor that he brings, especially when he wins. He has a very like, let's go, like Fight Factory vibe to him. It makes me think of that crew, but he's just a really exciting guy to watch compete.
Definitely. Do you know can you search how old Michael is?
Should be on like Smooth Compers.
Yeah, them and their brothers confuse me with their ages and stuff. Sometimes you see these dudes and it's like, wow, this guy's incredible at jiu-jitsu, and he's 17. What the heck?
Yeah, like he's 18 years old.
Yeah, 18. Michael Sands fighting out of Alpha Miami, I believe. Yeah. Kind of like Alpha Miami's like going nuts on the ADCC open scene, especially with their youth competitors and everything. Like basically, if you see Alpha Miami on the scoreboard and see this kid with like a mullet or some sort of
level black
curly mohawk and level black kit, like you should probably watch it because they just go absolutely bananas out there. So I do think this is going to be a crazy one. I do think for sure this is feels like a big step up for Michael Sainz as well, taking on Daniel Sathler. Because everyone knows how dangerous Daniel Sathler is now, and I think soon they're going to realize how dangerous Michael Sainz is as well. So definitely
is the match I think is going to do it.
Yeah, it's a good slobber knocker pick.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of these Sainz brothers on Who's Number One, and just in the scene going forward here because they're super fun to watch, and the future is very bright for the Sainz brothers for sure. So keep an eye out for those guys.
Yeah, so that one will round out the main card. That's the one that you got to get out the pocketbook. You got to steal it from your mom, from your girlfriend. Like I said, whoever is
steal it from your mom, who is your dad.
Yeah, whoever is closest to you that has access to funds, go ahead and purchase a subscription to FloGrappling, or buy a ticket and go watch it in person at the hangar in Costa Mesa, California, Friday, February 7th. All of these are going to be bangers, I think. I think this is a great card top to bottom. It just feels like just consistently cool-ass matchups all the way through. That's kind of how I would describe this main card. And then the undercard, we're giving to you guys for free. Like there you have it. All right, a special deal like we do every WNO. The undercard for free. It's going to be on the FloGrappling YouTube channel. So if you're watching there right now, subscribe to the YouTube channel and be prepared for this WNO 26 undercard. At the top of the undercard, that's kind of our feature undercard match for the event. We got Zach Kina going up against Isaac Cordova. We saw Isaac Cordova get a submission in his WNO debut, and now he's taking on Zach Kina, super game, super tough opponent representing AOJ. So we kind of have another little AOJ 10th Planet match going down here. What do you guys think about this match?
Super sick match. Big fan of both these guys. Kinda just won a No Gear World Championship to close out the end of last year. Having him here on the undercard is obviously very cool. Anybody who's that high level. On his way to winning that title, he faced Cordova, and they actually had a pretty good match early on. I think it was in the quarterfinals of that tournament. And I think the point system, Zach played very well. I think he won like 7-4, something like that. But I think in a submission-only kind of format where Cordova tends to really shine and do his best work, I think that this is a really, really fun match. I think these are two of the best guys in the world at 135 pounds. They've agreed to meet at 145 pounds, so no weight cut concerns, always kind of cool. These guys are going to go out there and throw it down a little bit.
Yeah, just to keep moving, maybe another one that I'm kind of really interested in here is this Ian Butler versus Victor Silverio, talking about kind of like two different worlds meeting. Like this is kind of a crazy match. I don't even really know how it came together, to be honest, because you would never think to put these two guys together, But Ian Butler, obviously from 10th Planet, I believe he's like a MMA fighter.
For Bellator.
Yeah,
Bellator guy, and then Victor Silverio, maybe the most veteran guy here. Yeah, probably for sure.
So.
Like the most veteran guy on the squad.
Roberto has lived 1,000 lifetimes.
True. Besides Roberto, but Victor Silverio was mixing it up as a black belt, kind of like when I was first starting jiu-jitsu, 10 plus years ago. So I feel like I've been watching Victor Silverio for a long time. Does he still represent Gracie Baja?
Northridge.
Yeah, so he's a Gracie Baja versus 10th Planet guy. Doesn't get any more kind of polar opposites than those two guys. And, Victor Silverio's had a crazy career in jiu-jitsu over the years, to be honest. So I haven't seen him compete in a while, to be honest. I'm not sure when the last time he competed was.
2022 Nogi Worlds, maybe.
Okay, so definitely a little bit of a question mark on Victor Silverio, just kind of where he is in his competitive career. But, a guy who's been in the game for a long, long time, so you know that his jiu-jitsu is tip-top, and we'll see if Ian Butler can show some tricks.
Speaking of, if we're jumping around a little bit, something that's really exciting for me on this undercard is the WNO debut of Sarah Galvao.
Definitely.
The daughter of Andre and Angelica has starting to blaze her own way and kind of make her own path. Brown belt, no gi world champion, purple belt, gi world champion, looking for the brown belt gi world title, and then she'll get her black belt this year. I believe that's the plan at least. Her parents have a combined 12 black belt world titles, so I think she's coming from a pretty solid pedigree. And she's facing Katie Carr, who's a Masters world champion herself, but there's a little bit more about getting Sarah out there, seeing what we have, and seeing how she responds to this kind of challenge.
I think Sarah's potential is definitely limitless at this point, this is definitely awesome to get Sarah on WNO this early in her career. Obviously, she has to take on Katie Carr, which is going to be a tough match for sure, so I guarantee you Sarah's not overlooking Katie Carr, but I do think, this is going to be a sick one. I thought this could have potentially been one of the slobberknockers. One of you guys was picking for sure. I definitely think this one ends in submission one way or another. And, I don't know. We've never seen Sarah in an environment like this. I don't know if we've ever seen Katie Carr either, to be honest. So it's kind of is putting these girls into a new environment, a submission-only environment. All the bright lights of WNO are going to be shining. The people watching at home, people watching in the venue if you go steal your parents' credit card and buy a ticket, of course. But
we're going to be watching Sarah Galvao here. She's not even a black belt yet. She's going to put in 10 years at black belt probably. Sure. So it's like we're going to be watching Sarah Galvao here for the next 10 years, and she's they have big plans for her to become the the new queen of jiu-jitsu. I have a feeling we're going to see her against, the Fions and the Gabby Pasanias and stuff very, very, very soon here. So, great that we can see her, at such a young stage in her career before she really takes off. I don't know as much about Katie Carr, to be honest. But, Sarah Galvao, of course, like I said, and then she's somebody to watch right now because we're going to be watching her win world titles for 10 years after this.
For sure. So keep moving along this card. Another women's bout. We're going to see Rene Willing go against Solange Van Doorn. Definitely an interesting matchup. Kind of another wild one where it's like, whoa, Uncle Ricky's been in the lab, just picking people all over, matching them up and stuff to make this Rene versus Solange match. We saw Rene. I feel like the most notorious place we saw her recently was at ADCC trials. Specifically in her first match, she submitted her first match with the Terrico Plata, had Jocko obviously in the corner, so that's kind of a cool thing. She talked a lot about how whenever you roll with guys like, Navy SEALs, like Jocko Willink, should I do a quick Jocko? When I got the call for Rene to be on WNO, I said, good. Go ahead. Get out there. Get a submission. Do a Terrico Plata. Good, a little bit of that action.
And anytime you hit a Terrico, we're suckers for Terrico Platas. So anytime you hit a Terrico Plata, we're instant fans. It's
one of the coolest things. Do you guys remember that kid's name, the Gracie Baja kid at Euros who hit Terrico Plata and then a Barado Plata back to back?
Oh yeah, Jonathan Anderson.
Jonathan Anderson, American kid representing Gracie Baja. I think he trains out in California at Euros in the blue belt juvenile division. He went out first round, hit a Terrico Plata. Second round came out, hit a Barado Plata. Just super sick to not just be that nasty at a specific thing, but to be like, bro, I hit the two dopest shoulder locks, Terrico Plata and Barado Plata. But Rene Willing, obviously familiar with the Terrico Plata. Solange Van Doorn, I think we've seen her recently at Nogi Worlds, right?
Yeah, she's coming off of Nogi Worlds. She competes pretty regularly out of MGA. She's one of the people over in New York City training under Mateus Diniz. So I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see Mateus Diniz kind of transitioning into his coaching role as well. I think that's really interesting for an ADCC champion, kind of kicking the wheels on that as well. And it's a great opportunity for both these girls. I'm excited to see how they do.
Definitely. And then our final match of the undercard.
The very first match.
The very first match of the night. We got a youth match.
Our first ever youth match on Who's Number One.
First ever youth match. I'm conflicted on it. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know how I feel yet, but eventually the match will go down, and
But if there's one youth match to have, I feel like these two guys are great representatives of the future of jiu-jitsu. Especially we know a lot about Icaro Moreno. He trains with AOJ. One of the most professional guys at AOJ.
He's going to be the most professional guy on the card.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Straight up.
You know, and he's 8 years old, you know, but always good to mix it up with Icaro. He's got some incredible jiu-jitsu. He's got jiu-jitsu, you know, better than all of us, and he's only 8 years old.
Both these kids, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, always fun to see how these future jiu-jitsu stars are going to make their debut here on Who's Number One. You know,
put the picture of Icaro on the screen.
one of the best six packs in the game.
By the way, we need
13-year-old
13.
orange belt.
Okay, 13.
Come on now.
Just
Sorry,
freaking jacked to the
Icaro.
He's
gills.
an absolute beast.
When Icaro takes the mat, dude, freaking ask your girlfriend to go into the other room, bro. You don't want her to see this. But same, honestly, with Christopher Sarkeesian. You know, these kids are little beasts out there. So, yeah, definitely, I hope they come out and make a huge splash for the youth, honestly, like in this WNO debut for both of them.
And then 10 years down the road, one of them is going to be a Who's Number One champion.
That's the cool part is these are two kids who eventually can go on to win black belt world titles, go on to win ADCC world titles. Every coach who has watched them all agree that these are incredibly talented young kids who are going to be the first ever kids match on WNO. Something I'm excited to see is Icaro has been putting all these videos out of him wrestling, right? And of him just like
in actual wrestling.
like in wrestling tournaments. Yeah, and I'm excited to see if that kind of comes into play, starts trying to be the little Brazilian wrestler kid now, or what are we going to get? That'd be cool. Let's see.
There we go.
They're only going to have 6 minutes to work, so they're going to have to get after it.
For sure. But that rounds out the entire card there. Now I think, what do you guys think about drafting? All right, we'll go through, not picking the person or the specific submission, but let's draft the matches that we think will end in submission. You know, a little bit of a sub-hunters draft here. Can we, you know, pinpoint out which of these we think is the highest likelihood to end in submission or not? I think maybe do a little snake draft type of format, get some points involved so we can come back and see who's got the eye for it and who doesn't. What do you guys think?
That sounds like a good idea to me. So you're saying like if Pato or Keith wins by submission,
the match ends in submission.
Yeah.
I think we could associate points with it, so everyone at home can play along. You know, let us know what you think of these matches and whatnot. If there's in traditional Who's Number One matches, there's 3 judges' favor. It doesn't actually impact. It's not round, so you don't win that round or anything. It's just a way of updating as the match goes of who currently the judges view as having the advantage at that point. So there's 3 judges' favors.
That's what that's for.
Yeah. So you haven't watched Reed's rules video?
Let's play the rules
Wait,
video.
do we need 50-50 ankle locks, or should I leave those at home?
Leave them at home.
I think if the match ends in submission within the first judge's favor, so that would be like in a 15-minute match, the first 5 minutes, that's 5 points for whoever picked it. If it ends in the second judge's favor, that's 3 points. Ends in the third judge's favor, 1 point. If it doesn't end in submission, it's 0 points. All right, what do you guys think of that?
All right. I'm game for it.
How do we pick draft order here? Slack, think of a number between 1 and 738.
Got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, Joe, pick the number.
308.
I'll go 14.
Oh, I'm just picking a number?
Yeah.
I will pick 700.
Who was closest?
Say it one more time. Who was closest to the number?
300.
For the record, I thought I was picking a number too, so now
308.
14.
700.
Trey is closest.
All right, first pick. Who's second closest?
Joe.
What's the number?
The number 7.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Damn, so I wasn't close at all.
So it goes.
You had a 7 in there.
True.
Actually, we'll give Slack first pick because he picked the number that was spot on, and then me, or me as the 4th pick, and then Joe. Our producer says we suck at this.
I made up the number.
All right, Nikki overrode us. He said we got to go in the order we're sitting. So,
I'm 2.
all right, so starting with Slack,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm third or 308.
Am I picking a singular match?
and then we'll snake draft.
So I'm going to pick that Ryan Aitken versus Luccas Lira ends in submission.
All right,
one.
that's the 1-1 that you think is going to end in submission. Yeah. Will you make note of these on your your little technology box over there?
I pick Pato versus Keith is going to end in submission.
Okay, Pato versus Keith. All right, well, that threw off my plans. I was really trying to rig it and get the first pick. I'm going to go Sarah Galval versus Katie Carr. I think that one will end in submission.
I will take Tainan and Rene.
All right, another tough one there.
I guess I got to pick again.
Yep.
Daniel Sathler and Michael Sainz.
Daniel Sattler, Michael Sainz, good one. All right, now it's already getting tough.
Brother, it was tough when it got to me. I was having fucking
Yeah.
I was like, all right, there's 3 super solid, and then
I will now pick. I'm going Rene Willing versus Solange Van Doorn. How about that?
I'll pick Ian Butler versus Victor Silverio.
Now Slack's writing over there. Look how locked in he is.
Say yours again, Reed.
Victor Silverio versus Ian Butler. I think it's going to end in submission.
So on the undercard, we still have Kaina Cordova and Icaro Christopher. And on the main card, we still have Rafaela Paige, Roberto Elder, and Jay Ronaldo.
Your pick, Slack. You got 2.
I'm going to say Zach Kaina and Isaac Cordova.
Okay.
And then I got to pick one more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Roberto and Elder.
All right.
I'll go Jay Ronaldo.
What all do I have left, Joe?
Rafaela Paige or Icaro Christopher. I think those are the only 2.
Yeah, I think we should all get 3.
I got 3.
Yeah, I do not I think for sure Icaro and Christopher have the capability to
Shorter
get submissions.
time, first of all.
Yeah.
Shorter time, and it's just like, man, kids are kind of unbreakable, to be honest. Like they'll just they'll have their arms just bent in half and just be like, oh, I'm gonna go play with Legos now. But no, not these kids. They're like, I gotta get back in the lab. So I'm gonna go with Rafaela Guedes and Paige Ivette.
All right, I'm happy to take Icaro Moreno and Christopher Sarkeesian. One of those kids is going to shatter the body of the other.
Oh, jeez. All right. There you have it. So,
all right, we'll pick up that on the next episode, see who won.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see who won. And maybe, we'll get like a crown or a big belt, or maybe like if whoever wins, the other people have to go around and say 1 minute of earnest compliments.
I was going to say everybody has to pay them one compliment.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to sit there and make direct eye contact and give an earnest compliment.
Fine, Reed, you have a kind smile. You usually radiate warmth as you walk into the office, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great mentality and outlook always.
Well, I don't think Reed's going to win.
It feels like I already won already, so I appreciate that, guys.
But there you go. So go ahead and drop us some comments down below if you guys could have been a part of that, and picked your favorite. What do you guys think is going to end in submission? Kind of let us know what you think, and maybe we'll award points for some of the best picks down there low. But I don't want to see any edited comments. No change in what you picked. You got to choose what you go with and then live or die by it. But anything else? Anything else to wrap up on this one, you guys? You guys excited for WNO? You got something?
Big announcement coming at WNO 26 about WNO 27. I feel like we can say that. Nick Urot posting on Instagram.
Seen a few guys making some posts. I don't know. So there is big news that's going to be dropped at WNO 26. It's going to be live during the event. We're going to announce some stuff. So definitely keep your eye on that one. I'll just say I'm stoked for WNO 27. I think this is going to be huge.
Huge main event.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. So.
I feel like it's going to be the biggest Who's Number One we've ever done. I'll just go out and say that. So
shatter all the records.
So big 27 coming
foreign
up.
and domestic.
Yep.
But so excited for WNO 26 as well. We got to get through this one first before we move on to the next. But it's a good one to have on the horizon. Like I said before, Friday, February 7th. It's all going down in Costa Mesa, California, at the Hangar, a venue that's had a couple of the sickest WNO cards so far, so I don't think this third one should be any different. Exciting stuff from top to bottom. Excited, overall to have another Who's Number One coming to you live to the grappling world. Any closing thoughts from anybody? Any soliloquies or whatnot?
We got time? We got time for a soliloquy?
Yeah.
Just a quick one?
Off the
That
dome?
you got?
No. I'll save it for next time.
Next time.
I'll save it for next time.
If you win, maybe we get into soliloquies. The winners can do winner soliloquies.
Okay, sick. I like this. I like this game.
So, yeah, that's another episode of Flow Grappling Show. I'll give a quick shout out. We got the Grappler's Diary right here by Chris Wojcik. Wanted to show him a little love. Super cool thing. Anytime the jiu-jitsu community is making some cool stuff, putting it out there for the world, helping grow the sport, we want to support that as well. So go check out Grappler's Diary from Chris Wojcik.
Great writer. He is,
writing for Flow Grappling as well, So definitely some cool grappler-focused writing, like article series on Flow now. You can get into the mind of Keith Krikorian, get into the mind of Chris Wojcik before ADCC, but still kind of dropping some stuff. But go check that out. Thank you all for tuning in to the Flow Grappling Show. Make sure you tune in for WNO 26. It's going to be an electric one. And if you're out there, we'll see you guys there. And if not, we'll see you in the next episode.